afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Entrepreneur State of Mind, growing your business from the inside out. I am Jo Colantonio, your marketing mindset and money pinkpreneur from igniteyourbusinessnow.com. And I'm excited to have a special guest here today. First, I want to give a shout out to Keith, who is our, what are we calling you now?
I've been labeled a producer.
Labeled a producer who just played a really mean trick on me. But then he said it was okay as long as I call him Big Daddy.
Right, we're good, yeah.
So I am so excited to have the smoking hot Bonnie Clayton here today. She is the web chick and CEO of Timely Manner. She's an award-winning consultant with over 25 years of experience in just about everything, right, Bon? Administration, web design, management. Sure. And she doesn't really want to tell anybody, but she's a heck of a graphic designer, right?
Actually I'm going to call her Hollywood because she came with these sunglasses on. I didn't even recognize who it was.
Hollywood, I like that. I like that. So guess what, listeners? Bonnie is going to be talking techie with us today. So take it away, Bon. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your business and your techiness.
I specialize in web design and social media. What I really love about what I'm able to do in my business is I can take small business owners and entrepreneurs from, I hate my website or I hate my social media presence to, wow, I really love my website, or wow, this Facebook thing is really cool. Yes. So being able to take them from that state of just
total
hating,
overload,
yes,
frenzy,
overload, and even sometimes just that they hate doing it. And if they don't love their website, they're not going to promote their website. And if they don't promote their website, they're not going to have an online presence. And if they don't have an online presence, they're missing out on a good chunk of potential clients.
And they're not going to end up in their business now.
yeah, exactly.
Bonnie and I had some growing pains, and you helped me to, in my rebrand, right, to enter social media and get out there and play a bigger game. There's a section in my website where we describe, what fairy dust is. And for our viewers that don't know what fairy dust is, fairy dust is that little something that deep down inside you're passionate about, that you do more fabulously and juiceliciously, right, than anyone else. That thing that you can't wait to get up in the morning and get to work to share yourself and your expertise. So Bonnie, what is your fairy dust? Because you sprinkled it all over my website.
I think it might be the puzzle. Whether it's the puzzle of someone hating their website and putting the pieces of the puzzle together so that they now love their website, or they maybe they know a little bit about WordPress or web design, but they can't quite make it do this. I kind of like coming in and finding maybe the pieces of the puzzle that are missing for them. I was working, as a matter of fact, my husband was teasing me about it today. He said, I love it when you solve a problem. I had this shopping plug-in issue just completely kicking my butt for the last 2 days. And around 2 o'clock this morning, I figured out the solution. Mm-hmm. And now I'm on to the fun parts. I'm like plugging in the graphics and putting in all the fun stuff on there. And I'm like cheering for myself at my desk. And my husband's looking in at me, just laughing at me. But that's, I think, really when I come to that solution and I know that I'm able to provide that I've played, hey, what's this button do, enough to the point where I can present a solution to my client. I think that's what really gets me stoked about what I do.
And something else that I just know from working with you a little bit is that she's not blowing her horn enough. She solves every problem. She knows how to do everything. When I spoke to her yesterday briefly about this, I said, hey, what are you worrying about? You're a tech chick. You're the hot web chick. You're gonna get it done. And I was you set a deadline, right? You set a deadline for today.
Sunday, actually.
Oh, so you're ahead. What are you going to do with all your free time?
Take a dip in the hot tub, maybe.
um, you have something coming up, and I know that you wanted to mention it, where you are actually a guest. You want to tell our listeners a little bit about that?
Sure.
You're a presenter.
I am doing one of the special 10-minute growth spurt presentations at the Grow Tour, presented by Powerful You, right in our backyard in Blackwood, New Jersey, at the Valley Brook Country Club, and that is on Thursday, October 10th, and it runs from 9 to 4. Now I don't know yet what time I'm presenting.
I know that I jumped on the bandwagon when it was all over social media, and I bought my tickets. But how can people get tickets now? Because I got them through Facebook with a link that you sort of provided. So do you have a way for the listeners to find that event so they could show up for you?
Yeah, the easy way for them to find it is to go to grow-tour.com, and then over in the right-hand margin, there's a link to all of the different stops on the tour. They'll just want to click on the South Jersey, Philadelphia link.
And do you have a special juicy little code to give them?
I can save you $10 if you use the code SPEAKER10. And they do also have Bring a Friend deal.
Mhm.
So the regular price, I think right now it's still in early bird. I think it's $59, and then you can bring a friend for another $29. So your friend won't get 10 off, but you can get 10 off of your $59 if you use that code.
I grabbed this Stellavator, and
oh, awesome.
we put our tickets together, so we're really looking forward to seeing you. One of the reasons that I wanted you to have you on is because I know your story, but our listeners might not necessarily know that, and the road to being a successful entrepreneur has hiccups, bumps, whatever you want to call them, tech challenges. But so, what were I would say, what was your biggest, your biggest fumble or your biggest oops that really totally transformed itself into your greatest achievement at the end of the day?
I can't think of any single event. I know before I actually jumped in with both feet, my biggest challenge was really, and people probably say this all the time, was getting out of my own way. I didn't have enough confidence in myself. I didn't feel like I could make a living at this. I didn't feel like people would pay me to do something that I love, even though it's something that I also happen to be very good at. But it was, kind of crossing that barrier into believing in myself. And it was actually kind of my husband standing behind me, and he sort of pushed me. He gave me that little push and said, "Go for it. I've got your back." And he's probably my biggest fan. I've never done any work for him, but he's probably my biggest fan. And he really helped me to overcome that. And obviously, since then, now I've definitely got the confidence. I know that I have the knowledge, and I've helped so many people solve their puzzles at this point. I know I've got it.
What was who was let's say your most challenging client but at the end of the day you really, really loved the result, and so did they? Who would you say that?
Can I say you?
No. No, you're not supposed to say me. Can't you think of some crazy person? Why me?
Well, because as we've discussed, you love to touch everything. And that is a challenge for someone who's trying to,
Can you just define touch everything for them here, just so we're
touch everything that you're very hands-on.
Okay.
You're not like, okay, here, this is your realm, and you want to see what's going on.
Attention to detail.
Yes, you want to see what's going on. You don't really want to just hand it to somebody and go, okay, I'm done with that piece. I think now that we've worked together and you're familiar with my style and I'm familiar with your style, you would be a lot more, our relationship is more conducive to you letting go. But when we first started working together, you were very hands-on, and that was a challenge for me.
And you know what
because I'm used to taking something and just running with it.
And you know what the great thing is? What's so awesome now is that now I just send her an email and it comes back perfect because we sort of got in a rhythm, and you know, she knows my branding and I know how she works
And now I just love all the little doodads that we come up with, you know, like the little fairy dust graphic and the sticky.
the sticky note was big.
That was
I
just-
mean, that was fun.
So I just
That
love
was
like
really
all the
fun.
little fun stuff that we get to do
Mhm.
now.
Okay, now you have to tell me somebody else other than May. Give me, you know, though. Can I use that later on? No,
Sure.
Oh. Because I had growing pains when we were developing, as everyone does, right? That's normal. That's normal. So let's use another example. But thank you.
I guess I could say my first e-commerce site. My
Okay.
first big e-commerce site. My first website, the first website I ever did, which was actually was totally HTML coded, written
That word
from
makes me so nauseous.
completely written from scratch from a blank screen. Was actually my dad's fishing tackle website, and he had about 150 products.
Okay.
But last year I took on a website that had nearly 500 products, and they wanted me to populate all of the products. So, and the challenge there was timing. You know, scheduling it to make sure that it was done within a decent amount of time, but also pricing it,
Mhm.
because I had never undertaken for almost 500 products. So I wound up way underbidding the product, but the project. But now it's one of my favorite
Now you know, right?
products that I've
Mhm.
ever put out. It's beautiful and it's easy to navigate, and I loved working with the site, and they're still my clients today.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Keith, I'm just checking over with you, Big Daddy, because am I on? How am I doing with time and
You're
commercial?
absolutely fine.
You're not, doing the whole little
I'm
shimmy dance
enjoying it.
back there,
I'm enjoying it.
and you're sitting down, and must be look at him.
Drinking
Good
my
job,
tea.
right? Just
Mhm.
sitting down, drinking coffee, bossing everybody around.
He doesn't worry at all about anything.
No, in control.
Okay, Bonnie is.
I do want to say one thing.
What?
I want you to hold up what Bonnie got you.
I know. I'm so distracted. I'm
I
so
want you to
distracted
hold it
with
up
it.
for the camera, 'cause I think that's
I
so
know.
cute.
Can I move? Can we unveil? Can they see it here?
No,
if I-
you gotta pick it up.
I'm so distracted with this. Amazing. Isn't this
Hold on
awesome?
1 second.
Tell me where we can.
You're good. You're good. And that is your logo, basically,
Well, it's the logo for the show,
for your show.
right?
Right.
It's the graphic for the
Graphic.
show.
Correct. And I
Um,
think it's adorable.
It is, and it's live, and this is actually going to grow out of here, right?
I think so. I've never done a cutting before, but
I think so.
my philosophy is everything I've ever done for the first time is something that I've never done before. So don't let that stop me from trying.
I was
Yeah.
touching it, and was it noticeable that I kept touching it and looking at it, and I was
Well,
distracted by it?
No, I've been looking at it.
It's kind of better than a piece of chocolate.
It is, and I gotta say, it goes with Bonnie just thinking outside the box and
Absolutely.
being creative. That is awesome.
So why don't we just share how this came about? Keith had asked me to do a radio show, and he said, "Joe, I need somebody who can talk to entrepreneurs."
That's right.
Right? And
And be detail oriented, to touch everything.
in detail oriented and touch everything. And so we had a meeting or two, and I don't know, what was our first idea? We were going to do Superman, right? And
Yeah.
pull the with the S on the chest, and we were going to do super entrepreneurs.
Super.
So Keith sends me a graphic. I send it over to Bonnie, and we write some copy. And Bonnie and I just knew, right? Because she knew at that point it wasn't resonating.
Right.
So I said, Bon, find me a picture. Boom. 15 minutes later,
I sent you
she
about
found-
5 images.
she sent me some images. And the image that we have with the seedling inside the light bulb really encompassed what we want to do here on the show and how we want to share our guests and our guest expertise.
And that's
And
amazing.
that's it. And I love it.
I do too. I want one, Bonnie.
I know.
I will get you one, Keith.
I think that is so amazing.
Yeah. So I went on. I didn't. Now I can't take credit because I did not make this, but it is an actual recycled light bulb.
Really?
When I saw the graphic, I'm wondering,
It's amazing.
I wonder if you can actually get like a little bud vase
Mhm.
that's a light bulb, or shaped like a light bulb. So I worked my magic on Google, and I did find this.
Because she's a smoking hot web chick.
And
So
I,
you
I
found
love
a
to talk
light
nerdy
bulb?
to you.
Well, I like to say, what do I say? And then you always correct me. I forget.
I say that I like to talk nerdy to my clients,
Right,
and
and
you
I
always say
say
talk techy.
Talk techy to
But-
me.
I mean what you know. So that's the story
so-
of the bud vase.
So, it's so adorable, and I'm taking it with me. You can't have it.
That's all right. She'll give me one.
It was for you.
What
will
can
get
we
one for
make
Keith.
for Keith?
If he wants one of those, then that is what
No,
he
I
will
want
have.
one that says Big Daddy and it's kind of grown out of it.
All right, Bonnie promised to share a few techie tips.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna
Nerdy
talk.
techie tips.
I'm gonna talk nerdy to your listeners.
Woohoo! Keith, you're gonna have to leave the room now.
Okay.
I do have 3 top tips that I like to share with people to kind of whet their appetite for social media. The number 1 is please follow the 80-20 guideline. Only 20% of your posts on any social media channel should be promotional.
Okay.
Buy my stuff, join my team, that kind of stuff. Nobody likes to hear that over and over and over again. When you go to a networking event, you don't go, hi, buy my stuff. Buy my stuff, buy my stuff. This is what I sell, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. There's a whole conversation.
Some people
Well,
do.
some do, and they're probably not real
And
successful
they're not
at networking.
selling their stuff.
So yeah, you don't want to be that guy.
Right.
So about 20% promotional, 80% value rich content, I like to
Mhm.
say. If you can make them laugh, make them think, or make them learn, that's value
Oh, I love
rich.
that. Make them think.
Yes.
What about education?
Make them learn.
Is
Make
that
'em
is that what you
learn.
mean value?
Make them
Yeah,
learn. Yep.
I think educating is big.
Make them laugh, make them think, make them learn. So,
Learners are earners,
yes.
right?
Second tip would be you got to get down with OPC, other people's content. That 80% of value-rich content that you're coming up with doesn't have to be your own.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people stress about that, like, oh my God, where am I going to come up with something to write, like 6 days a week if I'm only promoting 2 days a week?
Mhm.
It can be articles, jokes, illustrated quotes, funny stuff, other things that you find out on the web, on Google. Google image searches are
Mhm.
fabulous for
Great.
illustrated quotes. Anything related, it can be related to your industry, but not salesy, not promotional.
And I would say also, just to add to that, that it really should align with your brand,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, and one other thing though, when you are doing that, because I think that's very important, but I think they need to keep in mind that wherever that information comes, they should credit that person. I see that a
Absolutely.
Oh,
lot
yes.
because I think we're on the same network, and sometimes I think they see things posted that we see or we all see, and I'm like, I've got that from someone.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they didn't give the person credit, that
Mhm.
whoever it was credit. That should. It goes a long way.
I even will say sometimes like, I know I stole this for someone. It's not mine, but it was good, so I'm going to repeat it and I'm going to share it.
Right.
Okay, so the 80-20 rule. Use other people's content, and there are ways for. Can you expand on that a little bit, because that doesn't mean going and getting an article and copying the exact thing and putting it down. So
No, you always want
Yeah.
to link, and that
You're sort
that
of
speaks
researching
to
a little
crediting.
bit, right?
Giving credit where it's due. A lot of times, if you're sharing directly from Twitter to Twitter,
Okay.
from Facebook to Facebook, the links that you use to share those things automatically,
They go with
it'll
it.
say, oh, it's via Joe Colantonio or via Talk Exchange Radio or what have
Right.
you. When you've shared it from another page, it does that for you automatically.
Okay.
And then you would not want to go to an article on Forbes.com
Mhm.
and copy word for word and then paste it into a post. Paste the link.
Right.
And that's-
Or paste it into your blog, because
Right.
it's not your content.
Exactly.
But you could comment on that article and credit the author and direct.
And Bonnie, I
back
have
to
a
them.
quick question. Now, if you do that link, right, could Forbes tell for those, they have those guys, their web guys sitting back. Could Forbes say, wow, this has been clicked on 100 times and it's coming from a certain IP address? Is
That
it
depends on what kind of analytics they've got
going with
installed
the
on
installed
there.
in?
Yeah,
But it's possible. So you never know that Forbes might say, "Hey, wow, this person reposted on their business website, and we got all these clicks. Let's talk to them." You never know what kind of connection you can make from it.
exactly.
Right. Okay.
And then my third
Mhm.
my third hot talk nerdy to me tip is to be consistent. Your social media presence is going to be built over time with consistent engagement. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Right.
Again, we go back to social networking is networking. If you go to a networking group that meets once a month and you show up once a year, you're not going to be successful in that networking group. If you post on Facebook once a week, you're not going to be successful on Facebook. So that consistency is key. By the same token, you don't want to be posting 20 times a day, every hour.
What would you recommend if people were going to sort of have like a social media cheat sheet? What would you recommend that they do? What would their formula be?
I think the standards are pretty good. If you're going to blog, ultimately 3 times a week, but that's not realistic for a lot of people. If you're going to blog, I would say once a week minimum.
Okay.
Facebook, daily, but no more than 3 times a day.
Okay.
Twitter should be 3 to 5 times a day if you're going to be successful on Twitter.
Okay.
And then LinkedIn, you can probably do about once a week. I don't think you need to be on LinkedIn daily. Google Plus is still
I was gonna ask
kind of
you,
up in the air.
What is going on with Google Plus?
I don't think
what's
they're
your-
ever going to reach Facebook levels.
Okay.
I mean, when you talk about statistics, there are over 1 billion people on Facebook right now.
Wow.
And I don't think that they are.
Work that WTER Facebook page, Keith.
I'm trying.
I don't think Google Plus is going to overtake them anytime soon. I wouldn't advise anyone not to give it a try. If there's something that you want to try it consistently for 30 days. If it's Google Plus, I would try it daily. And just see what kind of return on your time investment you get.
Okay.
If you see that people are engaging with you on Google Plus and maybe not on Facebook, maybe Google Plus is a better place for you.
Okay.
So I would never advise you, don't do that. Pinterest is fabulous for a lot of business.
Yeah, it really depends. It really depends where your peeps are. Where
Yeah,
they hang
I
out,
just
and
I
that's
love the
that's a
pictures
marketing.
and stuff like that. I really like that.
Yeah, it's very it's kind of, I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but it's sort of mindless entertainment. You can just kind of, I like that, click on it. I like that.
Perfect for Big Daddy.
Perfect for Big Daddy. I do love it. I see some fashion stuff, and we're starting to utilize it and put some pictures up there. I just think it's neat. Pictures, they say pictures speak 1,000 words, right? So.
One of the things that we talk about, that I talk about with my clients, is really, after we find out who our ideal client is, we need to find out where they hang out so we can engage them, and we need to find out where they hang out offline and online, and that's something that you and I have talked about.
Right.
And it's just I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but you are so comfortable online, and when we first met a couple years ago, and you first started networking, right, you had to sort of get comfortable with being uncomfortable, right?
And that was actually really where I saw a huge difference in my business.
Exactly.
Like
you
you said, I
told
was
me
comfortable with the online. I had the
Yes.
website, I had the Facebook page, I had everything except clients.
And then you sort of go through offline, trying different groups, trying different networking organizations, just like you do online with what's more effective, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest. We know if we want to find Big Daddy, we go to Pinterest.
Right.
That's right.
And building and sharing your content, not selling.
Right.
And trying to create a community.
Exactly.
Okay.
And online and offline, it's the same concept.
So what we're just really quickly, because I'm watching our time.
We're good.
We okay?
Yeah, we're good.
What I think you've already answered by saying networking, right? what are some of the other things that you did that really helped to get you out there, to just sort of play a bigger game and get you and your business out there in a bigger way? That were effective, you know, for your industry, for your industry. So if there are people listening, because you're a great transition story, because you were so online and now you are so well known offline as well.
My husband calls me rock star.
And that, woo!
Do you wear those glasses?
Oh yeah.
Where are
I'm
the,
serious.
Where
I
are the
didn't
glasses?
even like it didn't dawn.
Where are the glasses?
Put those glasses on. Let's see.
Oh,
I was like,
good.
I was introducing myself.
A
She
girl
took them
after my
off. I
own
was like,
heart.
shit.
Oh, I love them. Let's look at the inside. Did you see the inside?
I know. That's it. Nice. You know, I do have a question for Bonnie.
Okay.
Bonnie, you know, with the social media, I'm sure you're familiar with Hootsuite.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that, because I've used it, do you think that it takes away from your, we'll use attention to detail over there, your attention to detail as far as spending time on each individual social piece to your network? Like, you know, Hootsuite, you put something in, it blasts out. But I find that I was finding that I wasn't paying attention to a lot of the stuff because you're sending it all out and you're saying, okay, that's great, but for information coming back in, actually getting into it and looking at it, but I felt that if I was doing it individually, I was paying more attention. What do you
That
think
is
about
something that I counsel my clients about. You do have to be conscious that there could be people engaging with what you've blasted out there.
Right.
So you do need to still spend time, you know, set aside a chunk of time once or twice a day where you go to your pages and you see, has anyone engaged?
Mhm.
Has anyone liked my post? Has anyone commented on my post? Did anybody ask any questions?
Mhm.
The thing that you will not get, at least to my knowledge, on Hootsuite is if you have messages on your Facebook page, I don't think Hootsuite can alert you to that. So you
No,
do still
no,
need
they
to
can't.
sign into your
You need
account.
to check.
Right, you still need to, it doesn't send any things
Right.
back to Hootsuite. You're absolutely correct.
So you do still need to be conscious of that, and you do need to still sign on once or twice a day, you know, whatever your schedule allows, and just see, has anyone engaged? You know, do I have the opportunity to engage them back and really build a relationship with this person?
And I think also when you're building the content, that when you're sending that content out, you have to make it kind of across the board. Maybe you don't want to put out a certain thing on Facebook, and you know it needs to be a little different because maybe the audience on your Facebook is different than Pinterest. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just really
Well,
weird.
it doesn't have to be consistently the same. You can send out the different
You
messages.
can, but I just think that they feel like, oh, I can click a button and I've connected to people. Well, it's a lot more than that.
You know what, may I add a point or two in, because this gets into a little bit of strategy, and you know, a lot of what I have my clients do is sort of use two different marketing strategies with that sort of thing. So there's that consistent baseline outreach of tweets and Facebook posts and LinkedIn, wherever, Google Plus, and you know they're your ones that are just loaded in. They can be loaded in once a week. They can be loaded in the beginning of the day, whenever you want to do it. So those are the consistent. I'm gonna reach out 2 times a day. And then the other level of marketing strategy or outreach is to get in there at 2 other times during the day, be live,
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
share whatever you know, share your cool funky sunglasses, and then wait around for about 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean? And see if you get a response. Maybe that's when you post a joke or something that's really developed for you. I'm so distracted. Here comes Ruth with her delicious cupcakes. They're for me. Oh my
They're
gosh.
for me and my
Whenever
girls
she brings
tonight.
goodies in,
Oh.
it's never for me.
Oh. Woo.
You're special.
I'm special.
Cupcakes by Ruth. The secret ingredient is
Is
love.
Ah, right.
I do wanna just tack one little thing onto the end of that. Is
Yeah,
if you
please
are
do.
using Hootsuite or Buffer or one of those, do not use them for your Facebook page.
Right.
Use Facebook's built-in scheduler, because it does, you know, not to a huge degree, but it does to some degree affect how often your posts are seen in other people's news feeds.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not knocking Hootsuite. I think there is a purpose for it. I just think people just kind of take it as that it's going to do their social media for it. It's really not. You really got to pay attention.
Right, it's still social media.
That's right.
So
That's
you
right.
you can't like going back to actual live networking. You don't walk into a room, throw your business cards in the middle of the floor, and then go stand in the corner. So that's kind of by just loading stuff up into Hootsuite and
Right.
never re-engaging with people.
Well,
or following up.
about engaging. It's
Yes.
about creating relationships. It's about having conversations. And I was just going to ask you why you were letting us talk this long. Well, he's doing the
Because-
wrap it
because
up
my Ruth
thing.
just walked in.
And we're going to have cupcakes.
I was stalling for these cupcakes.
Well, Bonnie Clayton, web chick extraordinaire, thank you so much for sharing yourself and your business, and also sharing some of those great techie tips with
Thanks
us.
for having me.
Had a great time, and join us every Friday at 1:00 for the Entrepreneur State of Mind: Growing Your Business from the Inside Out with me, Joe Colantonio, relationship marketing and business growth strategist at igniteyourbusinessnow.com for juicy tips and lots of info on how to play big with heart and hustle and get out there in a bigger way. Slide by my website, www.igniteyourbusinessnow. See you next week, guys.